Okay, good morning traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and I'll be doing the live analysis here for Monday, and I'll be doing the live. This is June 27th, and we'll do it also Tuesday and Friday, all at 10 a.m. East Coast time. We have on Wednesday live trading from JTrader, a stocks trader, and live trading from futures trader Scott Pulcini on Thursday, all at 10 a.m. There are other webinars out this week, and also an update for everybody. Immediately after this webinar, we'll have Tom B. He will go through a live analysis like this webinar here, but with his slant on things, which is volume profile, order flow and volume profile together. And he's been doing this for about 6 months or so now. He is going to be cutting back a bit on his hours, just so you guys know. And it will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 11:30 to 2:30 East Coast time. And then Thursday and Fridays he will have off. Now, I don't know how you guys feel. Like, yes, it's kind of sad to see Tom cut his hours back, but I have to say I'm kind of relieved. He has been putting in tremendous effort, 4 to 4.5 hours every day, and I thought it was superhuman. I actually feel kind of relieved, so that Tom now has a little more kind of breathing room to continue doing exactly what he's doing, but it's still a ton of time. It's 3 days a week for 3 hours each session. It's still a lot. These live analysis webinars go for an hour and a half. Just want to make that note, and also a shout out to Tom and appreciation for all the efforts that he has put in. It is deeply appreciated, and it's been excellent work, and looking forward to a lot more. All right, guys, let's move forward here. That is the education that we're offering. I can talk a little bit more about that education in here, that we have an educational course and then this live analysis to go through that course content. Plus we have live trading. So it's a really complete educational effort here. This is all free, right? All from the Bookmap platform. And you want to learn and read order flow and apply it to any different kind of trading strategy. That's what we're here for. And then we have specific traders, how they trade, and apply order flow. Okay, so enough said. General disclosure, it's important here. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in and let's take a look at these markets here and see what's going on. Yeah, I agree, Alec. It really is kind of superhuman. I don't know how Tom is able to present for 4 hours. Like, I'm exhausted after an hour and a half. Anyway, moving forward, guys, let's take a look here, see what's going on. Have some stuff right off the bat to go over. In fact, I was talking to a trader earlier this morning, and we were looking for this kind of pre-market pullback here in this S&P due to market structure and order flow. Guys, simple readings in here. Very simple, very straightforward. The same things we've been going over for quite a while, but we're talking about market structure. All right, and we're going to talk about the volume within it and also the order flow, or the supply and demand within it. Very simple and very straightforward, and it played out very nicely here. Now, cash open unfolds, everything changes. Right, and there's tons of volume. You can see the volume bars here. Let's just take the heat map off for a minute. Look at the volume here after 9:30 cash open. It's always like this. There's very kind of minimal or paltry kind of volume pre-market typically, and then everything picks up and changes here at 9:30, and we can see that a very strong move to the downside. Right, boy, we've gone through this a million times. through the figure here, get people going, well, I'll be a seller below, 3,900 the figure. They're getting the squeeze right now. And a retest back up to this market structure here at 20, or even maybe a little bit higher here, looks pretty good as a retest. Sellers remain in control. All right, so in fact, where do you guys think sellers took control, and where would they be upended? I'm just gonna what do you guys think? And there's it depends on the time frame here, so the answers could be varying, but on the viewable chart, what do you think? Who's in control, and from what point did they take control? From 30, yeah, I would be right there with you, Alec. Yep, AVP, yep, exactly. So you can see, just look at the volume, look at the dots, look how they pulled price and moved it away on strong volume. Okay, here's the pullback, or maybe it's some profit taking, or maybe it's buyers getting in and then getting crushed, more fuel to the downside here as more stops mount here, and then some back and forth, and we do see buyers come in here, okay, and able to lift price up higher. But this is where sellers took control, right? And this is what we want to see in these moves. Okay, we're going to go over this again. We went over it last week, but I think we had a really good session last week. And let me bring up the pen tool here, because I think we went over it last week and saw some great examples of it, of trending versus rotational, or possible reversal as well, in terms of the structure and the volume within the structure. So we're not even going to talk for the moment about liquidity. We're just going to talk about volume and structure. So here's our move to the downside, and look at the volume in here. Okay, pretty strong and pretty consistent. And that's what we want to see. We want to see price moving away from a value area or a consolidation area. So just think about it: market going sideways, back and forth, and then something changes in the market, and there's a different valuation for some reason, this area here is no longer value. It has to explore and find a new value area. That's where you get the trend, or the move away from it. Okay, and this move away has to be on strong volume. Okay, so we're looking for price movement away, okay, as well as or price point and movement away, as well as strong volume, and we have both here. That's what we look for. Okay, and in fact, we look for pullbacks, and we look for low volume pullbacks. So we get strong volume on the way down here. So it would be kind of like let me get the pen tool here. Strong volume on the way down, big dots, right? Big dots, consistent price movement. Okay, and then we get a pullback. On the pullback, it's usually kind of small volume, something like this, and it usually comes into some sort of little structural area or cluster in here. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Okay, this is low volume pullback here, and the retracement in this case, let's just call it 50% of the move. Okay, you fib guys or whatever you're looking at, doesn't really matter. I'm not a fib fan, as you guys know. I look at the market structure, and then I look for the pullbacks to test those areas of market structure, and see if there's more buying pressure above that structural area. And we'll go back and take a look at that in just a minute. But we start to look for more sellers to come in again. Here, this is working pretty well. Let me use this other dot tool. Okay, and we're, whoa, that's a little too much. Okay, So we're looking for more sellers to come in like this, okay, and start moving price again away. It's exploring, trying to find and determine a new value area. At a certain point, there might not be more sellers willing to sell. They don't think it's worth it. They don't think they're going to make money. Or, I mean, there's a lot of dynamics for this reason, but we're just going to simplify it. And then we're looking for some buyers to come in and then trade it back to a previous value area, okay, or a previous area of structure. Okay, so this would be our structure in this case. Okay, and we'd be looking for a retest back to that area, and it could be a low volume pullback again, right? It could be another low volume pullback like this, back up to it. You might see more buy volume though. Okay, you might even see equal buy volume. Okay, the market's telling you something else. Okay, so it's starting to find buyers. Okay, so likely it'll probably kind of go back and forth in here, something like that for a while, and then we need to determine, okay, who's going to take control again, or is price happy and stable in this area, and this becomes our new value area. All right, so these are just really simple concepts of understanding kind of supply and demand and the aggressors in here. And these moves away from an area and retracements back to them. Okay, simple market structure is what we're talking about. Anyway, we said we'd take a look here at the retracement and where it might come back to. Well, where it dropped from is a good area for it to retrace. Other areas, if it's a strong move away, typically, okay, a strong move away on strong volume and strong points movements, we look for kind of these little clusters of volume. Okay, and you can see it in your profiles as well. And we look for a retrace back to those areas here and retest. So it already did that here. I'd be looking for it to retest back up to here. Okay, kind of where it dropped from. Maybe this area here is a good one as well. This is a little swing here, and there's a lot of selling right in here. See if there's more buyers up here. Are they interested? And you can see we didn't get there. We never got there, right? So it just continued on lower. So it just came to this one here, kind of spiked above it. And then here again, just like the picture we just drew. Look at the selling pick up again, okay? And we get the continuation, right? So now we're looking for, here's the move higher. Let's see, did it come back to this swing here? Let's mark it up. Okay, so understanding these areas and the transactions in these areas, and we're just talking about transactions right now. Okay, we look for retracements back to those areas. Okay, and there it is. Right, so and now we don't know this is going to happen all the time, but we're prepared for it to come to these areas in here. Right, so anyway, just some simple stuff out in. I thought it might be a good review for today, and just go through some of these ideas in here. All right, so and understanding again, like these where these are happening and the context of the volume in here is also very, very important. So right now we're still looking for the strong move. I mean, we see this is actually pretty strong buying here, but and now we're coming back down, and we're kind of in the middle here, and we're building out a profile here, a cluster volume profile here. It just means there's a lot of transactions down here. That's all. But we can take a look at these transactions too. Right, so right now we're going to go over something different. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at your questions at the moment. I will get to them though. I'm just kind of on a little bit of a rant, like Scott, but an educational rant. But let's take a look at the clusters in here and the condition now. See the move here? Okay, it's not bad. It's not great though. In fact, there's more buyers here. Okay, clearly, look at the volume bars, look at the volume dots and the size and the color. Here, they start to pick it up again, and also here. they start to pick it up again. Okay, so now we have something different now. We don't have that strong move of going down like this, and then a shallow pullback, or low volume pullback. Okay, what we have here instead is we have kind of volume like this. Okay, and let's see, then it kind of goes like that, goes down again, and then here it starts to pick up sellers. Okay, where are these? See, the volume down here is not, it's not the strong move away from an area. So in here, okay, it's possible for buyers to get up above that area, and if they do, we can get a squeeze and we can come back up and retest some of these other areas. So here they come, right? They're above. See the volume here? See them above it here? Buyers are now above that area. Now they can take control away from it and squeeze these guys down here, and I would look for retracements back up to maybe this area here. Okay, this swing here, of course, and it could do a full retracement all the way back up to here. All right, but noticing where the clusters are taking place, and look at the context here. All right, now we got to go through the different scenarios and understand, like maybe this is like it gets some guys on the hook here, and then they get pounded over here on this side by sellers again. That's another scenario, a possible scenario here, right? So how can you protect yourself against that? Now we can talk a little bit about trade management in here. Okay, well, if you're looking for this to unfold, why not take some off at the first area where it's a high probability or higher probability or higher likelihood of retracing to? Put your stop to break even. That's a way to consider it. It's not a trade recommendation or even a strategy recommendation. It's a consideration. Okay, because now see, these guys are on the hook, right? And they're getting squeezed, and now we're getting the move this way. Okay, and this is pretty strong sell volume here. Okay, pretty consistent too. Right, so let's see if they can come back down to this swing down here. Okay, around 38.95. Okay, we also have this swing in here, which is currently being tested right now. Okay, but this is pretty strong sell volume. So I imagine they can probably get it down further, down into here, and that's low of the day here. All right, so anyway, some very simple concepts here in terms of volume that we're talking about. All right, let me get back to the questions and see if this is resonating or not. And let me know, guys. Ask any questions in here. Happy to go through it. Okay, yeah, no questions. All right, sounds good. Anyway, we go through this kind of analysis all webinar long, and understanding again, there's 3 elements on this Bookmap chart. They're very simple. They're very straightforward. It's just looking at, let's just take off the stops and icebergs for the moment, okay, which gives us a lot of transparency and additional insight. And we're just talking about best bid and offer. Let's take volume dots off. Just best bid and offer, creating market structure here. That's it. It's just, this is pure price action. Every little wiggle is in here. Okay, if you're looking at bar data, it is not including all of that. It's aggregated within a period of some sort of data period. Okay, it could be a range bar, it could be a volume period, it could be a time period, it could be a Renko, it could be a conditional period like point and figure charts. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's still aggregated within that period until something happens for it to create a new period. It just doesn't offer you transparency of all of the price action. Okay, like this move up, little wiggle, or like consolidation here, and then breakout. Okay, and then come back down. This is where it stopped to begin with, and then it broke through. So this area is rather critical, okay, in market structure for this, just this action in here, right? We want to see, is there buying pressure back up above? Previously, we're looking for sellers down here, and we're looking for a new low. Okay, so what happened? Let's take a look. Okay, selling actually looks pretty good. This is where we want to look at the other side of the trade. Okay, so selling looks pretty good. I would look for, and you know, the likelihood of it to trade to 95 here. Okay, these guys are getting squeezed now, and the likelihood is now to trade right back up to here again. Okay, and this should happen quickly too. It should be a quick squeeze up into this area. What happened down here? This is where the other side of the trade really helps. Okay, this is where the heat map gives you that insight. So let's turn on the heat map and let's zoom in. Okay, well, there was liquidity down here. Okay, not a whole lot. Okay, traded into here and to here. Okay, some of it was pulled in here, some of it transacted, and we're not getting too much out of it. We're getting some out of that liquidity down here. Okay, a lot of times you just see a wall of liquidity down here, buyers down here. Okay, this time we didn't quite get that, but we did get some. Okay, so anyway, yeah, we want to understand that context here. Look, sellers here, they transacted, they sold here. Okay, the limit sell orders, buyers took them on, and we're able to trade through it a little bit. Okay, so now we're understanding the opposite side of the trade of the aggressors. This is the supply and the demand. This is supply here. This is supply here. Okay, where is the demand? Is down here at the figure 3,900. Okay, there's some in here that's kind of wiggling around as well. All right, so I was looking for the short squeeze again, but now I have additional information here. High liquidity in here. Traded through it up to the next area of high liquidity here. Without the heat map, I thought we'd come up to here. Right, so I mean, yeah, there's other little structural details that you could see in here with your volume clusters, etc., but you don't know the other side of the trade, right? And that's where the heat map really comes in and gives you that information. This is where sellers are. This is where sellers are. Not enough buying pressure to trade up into 39.16. Okay, now sellers back down to our little area here that we said around this 07 is kind of critical for this time frame at least. So let's mark it up. And let's take a look. Okay, do we get sellers below it here? A little bit, not much. So yeah, no real insight right now at the moment. Okay, if we start to see that selling pick up, yeah, I'd be looking for it to come back down to, well, basically the figure here, 3,900. Here they come. All right, let's see them move it down to 3,900. Now this time we want to keep an eye out here for not only 3,900, but a little bit lower here, because earlier we were looking for it to break here and make new lows. Let's see if we can do it now on this retracement here. All right, guys. Well, anyway, this was kind of I know this is the advanced webinar. We'll go into more advanced concepts now, but this is providing it, and it's Monday. I thought it would be good to go over the overview here, or of what Bookmap is, and how to kind of start to read the context of these elements in here. Okay, 39.12 Rick and a half is the midpoint of the first half hour. Okay, yeah, I don't really look at some of that data as well. I'm looking at these three elements basically and just reading them. I don't know how many, and here's why. Well, first off, those are very specific things to take a look at and study. You could look at your first hour of trading, your first half hour of trading. Or first hour and a half. Some traders look at that. and then that sets their expectations for the rest of the day. Here we go, guys. So we're trading into 3,900. That's what we're looking for. Okay, and then we really want to watch this one here. Is there still more selling pressure here? And can they drop it back down into maybe this 93 area here? Well, let's read the order flow. Okay, there's still some demand in here. Okay, are we finding buyers? A little bit. There's some selling. Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it here. It's not giving us that, you know, they're kind of wishy-washy here on the bid. They're kind of staying in the book. They're kind of not. They're kind of pulling that liquidity. Up here, they're doing the same thing on the offer. And you can see the dark spaces in here. It's a lack of liquidity where buyers can lift it very quickly to those areas and sellers can drop it very quickly to these areas here, as you can see, right? You can avoid this. Therefore, you can avoid it. We don't know. We're looking for when we have a little more kind of understanding of the auction here, a skew in the auction and a reaction by buyers and sellers. Okay, so let's see if we can come down here and I see the offer like show more, you know, maybe down to about 02 here, and pretty high supply, and they're starting to pull on the bid and we find red dots in here. I'm looking for them to break into 97, 90, and down to like, you know, 93 basically, and then maybe 90. Let's see if we get it. Okay, so nothing, we're not getting much insight right now, right? So nothing to do. Here's our sellers. Okay, what about the offer? Nothing. Right, see how the buyers come in and snap it away quickly. You get these sellers upside down, they'll have to, it'll be a stop run on the other side here, you know, something like that. So, you know, stay away. Here we go. That's some good selling. Okay, what's the offer look like? Not much. Don't like it. See how the buyers come back and fill in this area here. Yeah, and here they go. Here's the squeeze. Here's a stop run, right? You can avoid these things. Where's it going to go? Well, let's take a look. Liquidity, but also structure, market structure, probably up to about 05, and just shy of it there. But that looks like a good area where sellers came in and took control of this in this time frame here. Okay, now again, back to that scenario as well. Another possible scenario to consider. What if we get a lot of buyers back up above here? The squeeze is on, right? Well, we look for the order book again, but in here, you know, if we can get some buyers back up above here, we see maybe a heightened demand at a higher area here, and then starting to pull maybe on the offer. Then 39.10 looks pretty good, right? And the squeeze is on. Yeah, this is there's yeah, a lot of randomness in the markets, and it, you know, let me even take a step back and we'll talk about randomness in here. Okay, because I view the randomness is this in here. This is in the order flow. This is my take on it. Like, if they're not going to be providing liquidity in these areas in here, look how random, like it's just a bashing around here. Buyers can take it up, sellers can take it down, buyers can take it back up. There's not a whole lot of liquidity in here, and they can do that, right, easily. Here they're trying to move it away, right, and then it starts to do the same thing. Here's that kind of randomness and back and forth in here, right? Pretty dark in there. Okay, now here the sellers are coming back down here. Okay, the figure, and we're looking for sellers down here, and look at the order book. Still nothing in here, nothing. It's not giving us insight. So don't get on the hook here, because you'll get squeezed right back up. Right? Look at how buyers can cut up into these areas now very easily. Okay? And then watch the squeeze here. Watch the stop run here. Yeah, don't be a victim to it. You know what's going on in here. Yeah, exactly. Vacuum is good. That's exactly what it is. It's like this in here. It's very easy to for the market to trade back up because there's not a lot of liquidity in there. This is just how the market works. It's not any kind of rocket science or like any kind of epiphany or anything. It's just buyers and sellers. It's orders. And understanding the condition of that, of what these buyers and sellers think, where they're willing to place their liquidity and where they're willing to transact. Okay, so I want to take a step back here and look at this liquidations indicator. You guys probably have heard of. It's only available in 4 cryptocurrencies that we have, or out there, cryptocurrency exchanges. One of them is Binance Futures, which shows by far the most liquidations. Okay, also what is the other one? Is Bitfinex, Bybit, and God, and FTX. Okay, they will show you liquidations. And this is what I want to show in terms of market randomness, or address that point of market randomness. Look at the back and forth in here, and look what's happening at the extremes. So the market just kind of is bashing around, finding liquidations at some of these extremes. See, these are sellers here, or these are sell transactions here, but their account is being, people are getting margin calls down here at this area and at this area here. That's what's happening. Then the market starts to rotate back up. I'm curious, it doesn't find any liquidations here. It does here though, right here. These are buy transactions, but these are sellers being liquidated. These are sell transactions, so they're buyers being liquidated. This is what's happening all day long. Okay, you get this kind of market back and forth and randomness, and people are getting liquidated and getting stopped out in these areas here. It's fuel to little fires here, and then they kind of reverse and burn on the other side, basically. Okay, and it happens all day long. Okay, look at the stop runs. Okay, we were looking for that move up, and possible move up into 8 and to 10 here. Well, here it is. Right, it had to go back and forth here for a bit. Right, we thought it might happen here. It didn't. It had to come back down here, get these people. Now here's our stop run down here. We're going to look for a stop run up here. Okay, not much. Okay, but we're certainly going to see one here, and we do. Okay, and then look at underneath here. So these stops in here are basically the same as what you're looking at in it. Now it's a different thing, but it's basically the same thing you're looking at here in liquidations in crypto. Okay, so this is our liquidations indicator, we just came out with this, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago. It's only for crypto. It's only 4 exchanges, like I said, and by far the most is Binance Futures. And now we can understand what's happening at these extremes. They're almost always at extremes. It's amazing. This is amazing transparency. This is randomness, and this is what's happening within that randomness. We get with crypto, we can see it with the liquidation indicator, and with the futures market, we can see it with stops. And that's the back and forth that we're seeing in here, getting bashed around. Right, so the market just is like water flowing around, and sometimes there's a lot more push or a lot more pull. Anyway, that's my kind of take on the randomness. We can see it in stocks as well. Okay, let's go over to Tesla and this back and forth in here. Now, the way we can see it, I think best in stocks, and is with the sweeps indicator. Okay, that also is with part of Bookmap Global Plus. So the sweeps indicator here, okay, right here, showing you where, in this case, we can look at auto mode, or there's like 6,600 shares here, a little bit more, that trade within 0.01 seconds at over a minimum of 2 price levels. Okay, so let's see it. Where is that? Well, it's here, right? So the sweeps indicator is showing you where people, it's a book sweep. Okay, very, very quickly, the market traded lower over multiple price levels here. Let's take a look. Yeah, so here, beautiful book sweep. Okay, sell volume, nothing but sell volume, trades into and through 735 here. This sweep here is filled with liquidations as well as stops. Okay, and it's not just those two, it's also filled with other sellers coming in. Or it could be, it could potentially be all of those different players. Okay, nonetheless, we can see that really was the bottom here. It's kind of capitulation. And we can see that since then, that's been the low. Okay, so these little areas in here are telling us and giving us insight to what's going on within the price action. All right, so from crypto and liquidations to stocks and sweeps. Okay, look at the sweeps. Look where the sweeps are taking place. They're almost always taking place. Now, not always, but many times they are taking place at the swings as well. All right, so anyway, here again, look at the extremes, look at the stops, look at the reversal, and then now we can even go back and revisit what we were talking about earlier. Okay, where that cluster of volume is down here, and then we want to see if there's buyers back up above it. We found some, but this is where we really need to see the push through for the buy side. If we do, we're coming up to 10. Okay, and yeah, they're doing it, but this is not high probability. They're not really doing it with vigor here. So, we're jumping on like a slow moving train here that might stop and stall, and it might go backwards. Right? So, that's telling us like, yeah, it still might do it. Still looking for 10 here. This looks actually better. Okay, but we want to see a little more, demand underneath here. And then we want to see these buyers come in, and we're not really getting that. Okay, so we don't have something that really gives us that much information here. All right, so anyway, we've kind of wrapped together a lot of concepts already. And let me get to some of your guys' questions, and then we'll continue here. We'll continue with the live analysis. So I also want to take a step back and look at the higher time frames as well. Yeah, the sweeps indicator works on all products. Okay, it's a very simple, straightforward indicator. It is just showing you within a certain amount of time frame, or a certain time frame, very low time frame, that a lot transacted, and then it's about over how many price levels. Okay, a minimum of 2 is needed for it to be a book sweep, but you might want to put more in, to look for a bigger book sweep. So guys, look at the move here. Okay, see the buyers coming in. So and it's thwarted. Sellers come in and move it right back down into the range here. But here we go again. And now if we get our buyers here, let's see if they can get up here and buy, and they cannot. And look at the order book now. So we're going to get a little more insight here. We're getting more insight here because now we have this reaction here, or this event that took place, high liquidity, and it actually transacted. Okay, buyers were interested. They took these guys on here. Okay, and now what we want to see though is after that. So this 3908 is what we want to keep our eyes on, and the reaction after that area here. Okay, and I'm not really seeing much. I mean, there's more selling, but it's still not really telling us too much. Here we go. Okay, now if we get buyers back up above it, and I want to see this order book though. I want to see them bid up here, right? Then it is more likely to trade to 10. Okay, so now this happened a little bit later, and it wasn't very good in here. You know, it was already moving into 10 when we saw the book in here. Is it a surprise then that we're right back down here? No. Right, we were looking to see the reaction of this area. We did find our buyers here, but we didn't have the order book. Right, this just makes it higher, the likelihood higher. Okay, let's see here, other questions. The liquidation indicator does not work on multi-book at this time. That's a great question, but we're working on that. All right, so anyway, that's Dr. Mumu. Sometimes we'll see a book flip. Yeah, at a level, absolutely. We might, let's see if we get one down here. Right, or here maybe 05, something like that. You know, so we're looking for sellers down here, these guys to pull at 05, and then really high liquidity on the other side here to try to keep the buyers away from attacking. Sweeps works on futures, Jeff, no problem. It works on all Bookmap instruments. Yeah, because it's the aggressor, it's the volume. You know, if you guys, we now connect to Indian markets as well, and works on their data as well. Okay, so it's like I said here. I'll show you the specs on it here, on the sweeps, and the sweeps and absorption is basically they actually were the same indicator. We split them out because traders wanted to look at both of these on the chart, and we had it as one or the other. It's the same thing here as the absorption indicator here. Let me show you the absorption indicator first. Within 0.01 seconds, the traded volume was greater than or equal to, in this case, 100. Right, it's in auto mode here. Right, well, I can turn it off and it says 100. You can put in whatever amount you want in here. Okay, but it's still the same condition. Now, if this is the case, it's only the absorption indicator is only over one price level. So show that. Okay, so where did 100 or 96 trade this quickly? Show that. And here it is, right here. Now, this one shouldn't be of any surprise whatsoever because there's high liquidity here. So we could already assume that due to the heat map. Okay, this one here, though, I'm kind of surprised. I don't see the a very high liquidity transacting in here. It's not, at least it's not 96 or whatever it was that we chose. Okay, here's 400. Now we're up at 12. Right, now look at that. Look at this quick move, 400. Right, absorbed up here, very quickly. Wow, look at this. Okay, here's our book flip. Beautiful. I love that. Here's our book flip, guys. We can go over this if you like as well. I don't know why I'm going over so much education. Usually it's just, this is all forward looking in these webinars, but I think we started off kind of in review, and then I just went over these points in more detail here. Okay, this is a beautiful order book flip. Okay, it's kind of a nasty move. Now, it's not, if you look up CMC Rule 575, it talks about an order book flip as being prohibitive. Well, this is not really that scenario here because these guys did transact here on the offer, and then they're quick underneath here on the bid. Okay, but usually what happens in a kind of disruptive or prohibitive order book flip is these guys pull that liquidity, the aggressors trade through very, very quickly, and then they just throw it on the other side here, okay, to keep anyone from trying to trade it back down into those areas here. Yeah, no, the book flip, there's a video on this as well. It's on our YouTube channel. You can just do book flip and Bookmap, and you'll find a video on it. All right, so anyway, yeah, in fact, we're right back down here again. Here's our absorption indicator yet again. So we know 131 traded in 0.01 seconds right here. All right, so the sweeps indicator is the same except for one big difference, and it's a big one. Sweeps indicator is showing 0.01 seconds. Show me that 40 transacted over a minimum of 3 price levels. So it has to be a volume of 40 over a minimum of 3 price levels. So here the case fits. 0.01 seconds. We have a lot of transactions in here. We have 2, 17, 40. Right? Here's 40 altogether. Perfect. Meets it. Meets the requirement. 1, 2, 3 price levels. So show me that. And here it is. All right, so it's all broken down into each little transaction here, as you guys can see. But when we zoom out, it'll aggregate together and show us 40, which is our requirement, equal to or greater than 40. So that meets the requirement, and show it. And there it is. Okay, so that's it. That's all it is. Now that will work on any market that Bookmap connects to. What is the advanced heat map? If we go to heat map settings here, advanced market depth settings, or where are you talking about the advanced heat map? Good morning, David. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what exactly you're referring to on the advanced heat map, like right, the new indicator, or yeah. Okay, well that's coming out, and we still haven't released that yet. It is in beta testing. Okay, where you're able to filter for very specific trades. Okay, and it'll show you that in here, and it'll filter out all the liquidity from other areas. It's pretty amazing. I mean, you want to look at specific players in the market, you can start to identify them using the filtering. All right, guys, let's take a big step back here, because we're kind of, you know, trying to read some of this, and we just said, well, you know, likelihood is this, but we don't know. It just doesn't look as good, and we know why. Look at it. I would still say the same thing here, right? In times when I've been wrong in here and in these webinars as well, we'd come back and look at it and go, God, I would say the same thing, you know, like we'd be looking for the breakout or whatever, and then maybe it does, and then it fails hard, and then comes back down into other areas. Okay, so okay, you want to look at the VWAP and developing point of control? Sure, no problem. Here's our VWAP. Okay, based on the cash session. All right, guys. So we'll take a step back. Let me get take the sweeps off. I like the sweeps very much. I like the stops and icebergs on chart more, a lot more. So I prefer to have that on the chart. Okay, I really like this. I think this is just amazing here to look at in crypto. To look at the liquidations. This is amazing transparency. It's kind of like overhearing a conversation you're not supposed to overhear. You know, these guys got liquidated. The exchange said these guys got liquidated. It's like, yikes. All right, so let's go back to this S&P. Let's take a look. Okay, so now we're up above. We talked about this move, potential move up into retest back up here, as well as we started this webinar off. What did we say? Who's in control and where? Okay, we said 30. Alec said 30 or around 30. You know, somewhere right around in here, right? This is where they took control. Okay, you could 30 looks pretty good. Let's just zoom in and be a little more precise on it. Yeah, I'd say a little bit below 30 actually looks better. Around this 28.75 area, somewhere around there. You can even make a case for here, the swing, and then the sellers taking control here, so around 25. All right, there's a high volume node here, just around this 30 area, just a little bit below it. Okay, so buyers are now trying to take control, and they're going to retest some of these areas up in here. Okay, so that's what we want to read now. Where might they go? Well, this is where we're going to mark them up here. Okay, our 25, and then our other area was right around here. Okay, and let's zoom back out. Let's take a look. Okay, so that's where I'd be looking for these buyers to go, and look where the liquidity is. Okay, it's right between these two zones that we just, or these two lines that we just drew up. Let's take a look. All right, see them on the bid here at a higher area. So that's good. So are we getting aggressors here? Are they pulling on the offer? No, not really, not yet. So yeah, we're going to probably chop around between here, 21 and 24, because now we're entering that kind of period. See how it's kind of dark in here again? This is good. It's bullish to see this, but I'm looking for some chop in this area for right now. Okay, so let's see if we trade back down here and they mean business and they stay in the order book. And let's see if we get a lack of sellers and then buyers come charging in to trade back up to 24 and then higher. Okay, so here we are down at 21. And I still don't like it. I'm not getting much insight out of this either. Okay, they can still come down to 20 pretty easily. I'm not seeing much here on the offer either. So this is just, it's not randomness, it's just the condition of the orders in here. See how they just came down to 20. So this is looking a little bit better now that they came down to 20. Okay, 19, now they're down at 19. All right, so watch, we'll see some buyers come in and trade it back up here. First stop would be probably about 20, but then let's see if they can get it back up to about here, 23 or 23 and a half. Okay, and again, I mean, it's not a trade recommendation, but this would be a range bound trade. Okay, and you might get lucky here if they can push it through the, you know, kind of high volume node or most traded level of this little range in here, and you still see buyers above it. The likelihood of coming up to 23 and a half is much greater. Okay, it's still probabilities, but that's what you'd be looking for. See, they're starting to do that here. All right, great. Let's see if we get buyers here at 22, and then the lift up to 23 and a half. So you could start to develop these types of ideas into a trading strategy, but you have to do the due diligence and the studying. Here's what you've got though, right? The trend is up in this time frame, this small time frame. The trend is up. We're looking to see if maybe they'd come in at 20. They didn't, went lower. We're going to find our buyers trade it back up into the range, or we're looking for that scenario. They did, and you have the potential to trade to the other side of the range now. And that's exactly what it's doing, basically. Okay, almost there, almost made it to 23.5, one tick away. Right, but here, now this is something to consider in terms of not just a range bound trade, right, but then considering this as trending, because you're going with the trend, and you know, instead of like kind of fighting against it, here you're going with it. But it's a pullback. It's basically a pullback. Okay, but we're looking at it in terms of a range bound trade, but then trying to kind of see if we can get a runner out of it to the upside, basically. And we'd be looking still looking for our zone that we drew up here, and the high liquidity is up here. Basically, it's around this 26.5 level. More insights on the Indian market, like well, you know, that market's closed right now. There's not much we can do. We have to have webinars in the middle of the night, well, East Coast time at least. Dome Pro, yeah, guys, I'm gonna start going over the Dome Pro and the Execution Pro in more detail. Right now, I'll show it to you guys. Guys, here's our move, right? This is what we're looking for, and we talked about it. 26.5 here. It's trading into it right now. It's trading into our zone here. Okay. In a microcosm, the reason that we're looking for this here was the buyers taking control down here at this point. And look at the same concept when we started this webinar. And now it's not hindsight here. We were talking about this, I believe, right? We were talking about it. I know we talked about it on the way down. Now we're talking about it on the way up. But we're going to talk about it in terms of a smaller time frame. Okay, because it's still in the higher time frame, still sellers they're being tested right now, but they are still in control. Right? This is where that move took place. Okay, but look at this buying here. We'd be looking for it to retest back up here. Okay, again, what are we looking for here in review? What are we looking for in this move to give us insight that it might trade up into here? Two things. Yeah, thanks, Boy Robot. The advanced heat map they're referring to is the beta project. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I played around with it. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, we're still working on it, and I don't have any news yet for release. Anyway, guys, like, look, you know, something I want to mention in here. What we're talking about here is basically kind of like pure market structure and volume and auction. Understanding these concepts can be applied to anything. If you're a volume profile trader, this dovetails extremely well with volume profile. Okay, but you don't have to, you know, you can make up your own trading strategies here based off of market structure. This frees you up from trying to follow anything in particular. You can just follow your own stuff if you choose. Now, if you choose to be a pattern trader or a candlestick trader, or, you know, maybe you're looking at, you know, Wyckoff structure. Maybe you're looking at Elliott wave. Look for the order flow to support these patterns. That's where you're going to get the magic from it. And understanding the structure, volume, and auction of these three elements here is going to allow, it will totally free you up to look at these trading strategies that you may have studied for years, but it will free you up to be able to look at them in a very, very different light. If you already are doing well with those strategies, then this should help quite a bit more. There'll be a lot where you'll just, no, I'm not going to take that one. The order flow is not supporting it. Can you open up 2 ES charts in Bookmap? You can. It is there is a in the advanced heat map will allow you to do that. So it's not available right now, Tony. It will be with that advanced heat map when that is offered. Okay, so look for that soon. That's one of the beauties of the advanced heat map. You know, that's like almost like a core feature, is not just the filtering, it is the ability to open up 2 symbols of the same instrument. All right, guys, well, now we're starting to see a flow kind of change here. Okay, so take a look at this structure up here. Where do you guys think where do sellers take control? And in the bigger picture, are sellers still in control? Yeah, pretty much. I would say about 26. That's about right. Captain price. Yeah, right around here, right where we put our line. You know, this cluster looks pretty good, and here's the sellers taking control below it. Boom. Right. I mean, this is good selling in here. There's good buying on the other side here, but this is where we're just looking for. You know, we're not looking for a reversal quite yet, but what we're looking for is leg 1. And leg 1 should probably trade back down to about here, okay, or the swing, or or where buyers try, it tests where buyers took control, like maybe in here, something like that. So it's kind of a zone somewhere around in here, and it's already done that. Okay, so now our sellers still going to remain in control. I'd be looking to see where they took control here on this smaller move here. I'm looking for buyers to try to retest this area here around 22, basically. Okay, here's our small range in here. Now this is where we're looking at the microstructure. This is where we're looking for buyers up here, and we're not seeing them yet. Okay, let's see if we get them here, and let's see if we get more demand at a higher level. We're not getting that at all. See, there's more supply at a lower level. Right, here are buyers. Nonetheless, the buyers come after it. Okay. Again, like something that we're kind of looking for, that move back up to 22, but I wouldn't touch it in here. It just didn't have all the pieces. Okay, so all it did was trade to the other side of the range, and now it's trading to the other side of that range. Okay, and we're getting more sellers. One of the things you can kind of see where this is worthy of a study. We looked at it before on the way up. If we don't see buyers supporting it under here, and we don't have a lot of volume in here, like a big distinction in volume, there's more likelihood this is going to fail outside of the range and trade back in. That just makes sense, right? So it's not a strategy that I like to look at too much, because I don't know if all of a sudden they may skew the order book a ton, and then buyers come roaring in and then trade right back up to 23. right? I like to see them already starting to trade and then jumping on that train, and then looking for the follow through. So you kind of already know the agenda before getting there, right? And that would be an opportunity. Here you're just kind of taking a pot shot, saying like, I hope they don't show up. They shouldn't, based on this in here, but we don't. It could be a book flip, or something kind of nasty, and you get caught up in that and you get stopped out very quickly. Okay? But anyway, this would be the range bound trade here, back to right around here for step one. Cover a little bit on a scalp. Now this would be a very small trade, and then you'd be looking for holding to the other side of the range here. Did that, but it even broke it here. Okay, look where it retested again. High volume node of this range in here. Okay, so we're still bearish here. Basically, we're making lower highs, lower lows, and we're kind of, it's not a, we're kind of testing the midpoint, or it's not the midpoint, but the high volume node somewhere around in here. But it's accepting below it. Yeah, sure. Jay, from you, hover over the stops and ask or bid is indicator different from. I don't quite understand. You hover over the stops. The ask or bid that is indicated is different from the red dot. Well, yeah. I mean, when you hover over the red dot here, that's just going to show you the volume traded, right? This is going to show you the stop here. All right, let's see if we see this is nice move here, or nice volume here. Again, I want to see that, lowering the offer here. I don't. It's nice volume though, so I am looking. I would look for more likely it to trade into 16 and 15 here. But I just, it's something that is, again, I just don't think it's as likely, because buyers can very quickly whip it right back up to 20 here. Right, and I don't want to get caught up in that. And here we go. Hover over the stop dot. Okay, when you hover over the stop dot, let's just find one that's actually not here, this one. Okay, it'll tell you, I mean, it's not telling you anything about the stops in here. Here, we can use this here. Right, you're just getting what you're seeing here is the date, the time, and then what was on the bid at this price level. That's it. So the stop information is not in here at all. Right, so it's like it's not even seeing it right now. Okay, the volume dot here, we hover over that, now you get a fourth line of information that tells you the volume. Marcin, we talk about forward-looking analysis all day long. So this is just one of the webinars where, and also last Friday too, we talked a little bit about, we did forward-looking analysis as well. Yeah, no, I'm going to take a break from that and just today to cover it, but we'll go through it again. And that's what we do in this here. But we started off on a note talking about some of these things and then following through. So anyway, but that is what we're here for, is the forward-looking live analysis. Okay, sellers, again, this is starting to look a little bit better. See how they're bidding down here, right? And we're getting a move. All right, great. So let's see if they can continue now. And we're looking for like down to 12 and down to 9 basically. Okay, they're here again at 15. See, at 14.5 as well. Great. Buyers did take them on. Okay, that's good, but I'm still looking for sellers here. Okay, there's your forward-looking analysis. Let's see if we can get some more here. More on the offer here. Reaction is sellers. More on the offer here. Buyers seem kind of interested, so we're getting insight on that. Here they are. They actually take them on. Okay, they actually take these guys on too at 15. All right, now let's see if the sellers can now come in and drop it right back down to 12 3/4. Okay, maybe 12. More on the offer. What's the reaction? Buyers. Interesting. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of insight here. We're not looking for buyers here. We're looking for sellers. Okay, this is nice, strong move though with strong volume. Okay, now we're looking for our sellers down here, bottom range 15. Okay, high liquidity here. Let's see it sellers and drop it down to 13 and 12. Looking for it. Okay, little iceberg there, small one. Buyers keep hitting it here. They are lifting it. Retrace all the way back here. Let's zoom out here. Now I still like sell side. Still looking for it. There's still more sellers in here. Okay, so it retraced all the way back and then some, but I'm still looking for sellers here, and I'm still looking for 12. Okay. There we go. All right, sellers, let's see it. You got it. Let's see if we can get back past that into 10. 10 I like a lot. It's the VWAP and lots of liquidity down there at 10. Yeah, you want to see the tape, Marcin? Yeah, sure. You can filter here. You want to look at larger, min size, 10, something like that. I don't know, whatever. Oops, 10. Let's try 5. It's interesting tape. Now here we go. Here's some selling starting to come back in. It's back and forth here by the tape, right? Looking for sellers to take control again right here, right now, around this 14 and down to 12. Let's see it. I want to see more on the offer here again. Just don't like that it's dark in here. It just doesn't lead to more probable outcome. Still like 10 though, and VWAP here. All right, now that concept that we talked about in the beginning here, this volume here, this is where I want to see them upended here by a seller, and they're not right now. They're trying to take control, right, and try to move it back up into this area up in here. Maybe here, somewhere around 16.5 to 18. Okay, I want to see sellers here upend these guys, and I want to see them throw it on the offer here, and here come the sellers. Now we need to see the follow through though. Be careful with that. Okay, the quick move like that, they're going to get upended here. Anyway, I want to see sellers down here around this 14 and a quarter. 14. There they are. Okay, looking for the offer here, and then looking for these aggressors, looking for 12 and looking for 10. But just nothing on the offer. In fact, it's on the bid again. Climbing higher. Back to retest this again. Yeah, these are tricky moves. I mean, you know, we're looking for it and we're staying out of a lot of them. Most of them. Yeah, we don't trade in here, Marcin. We might. This is not a trading room. This is an order flow reading room. It's about reading order flow and applying it to your trading, any type of trading. If I trade in here, it would be one style of trading. That's one drawback, big drawback. That's why we have Scott Pulcini, who he will trade on Thursdays, and that's why we have Jay Trader, a stocks trader, trade on Wednesdays. So we offer the complete education. You got an educational course, and then you've got 2 different traders with their specific style of trading. Right? That's what we're looking at here. There's another reason too. If I showed a trade, where would your eyes be? I'm looking for an answer, Marcin. I mean, I've taken positions in here. I mean, they're all in demo, but yeah, I've taken positions many times. Mostly for just, you know, demoing something. Okay, well, anyway, the answer would be your eyes would be right on P&L. That's what you'd probably be looking at. That's what most people would be looking at. And that's a total distraction from getting these points across. So yeah, we want to avoid that, right? And what we're going over can be used for any market, basically. Well, yeah, I mean, I can give you the forward-looking analysis here if we're leaning correctly or not, and why. I mean, the main thing to cover here is why, right? And I can tell you, the more objective we are in the analysis, the more likely it will play out. Like, look here. Here's exhaustion, sellers. Here's our offer. Okay, let's see if I'm looking for, again, I'm still looking for sellers here. Okay, I want to see these guys pull here. Down here, I'm looking for sellers. And then I want to see these guys pull. See the exhaustion here, though? So this is why we're leaning to the downside. Right now, we're just looking for follow-through. But see how this is, we're not really getting much insight here. We're looking for sellers here. We just didn't get them here. Right? So this is just not high probability. Right? This is the way we're leaning. We're leaning toward sell side if we get this condition here. And we just didn't. Right? So this is why we wanted to stay away from it. Okay. Now we'll get a you know, we just traded this other side here. Let's see if now we can get it. Okay, and look at the bid, pretty strong, right? And we're still finding some buyers here. Well, we're looking for like the sellers in the range here, right? To give us that insight. We just went through it here. We're looking for them. We're prepared for them. Right in here, we're prepared for them. It looks pretty good. Nope, they didn't show. the bid didn't pull, the offer didn't lower, we didn't have it, right? So we stayed away from it. But we had exhaustion in here on the buy side. We had sellers at lower lows in this small structure here, and it was looking pretty good if we got sellers here, and maybe a bit of pulling on the bid here. All right, so now it rotated all the way back up here. It can still do it though down here. So I'd be looking again down here at this 18.5, looking for sellers again. So let's see if we get it. Here's our offer. Now what's the reaction to that offer? And that's a large player. And the buyers take them on. So this is back and forth in here. This is not what our expectation was. We're still finding buying pressure. So likely they'll trade up into 22 and 23 then. There's 22, and let's see 23. Right? So we got some insight from this guy here and this transaction here. Anyway, Marcin, if this is your first time in here, like I mean, this is, to be honest, like this is what we're doing most of the time, is live forward-looking analysis and reading this, okay? And then exactly like you said, putting together like the condition of the order flow and then looking for the move to unfold based on the order flow. Yeah. Yeah, it's just been some lessons and reviews last couple of days. Have you made a summary? No. I mean, markets will go up if Emil. Markets will go up if the most likely, put it that way, will go up if this order flow, the condition of the order flow is such. Okay, markets will go sideways if the condition of the order flow is such. Yeah. No, I firmly believe it. I mean, we see it every day, all day long. This is very akin to a spoof right here, right? And now we got a bit of a spoof and a flip here. So let's see if we can get our sellers back in again here. So here we got something interesting, right? We've got a spoof. We've got a flip here of the book, looking for sellers, and they can tear through this now. Sellers can tear through this. If we get them down here, we can come back down to 20 pretty quickly, I imagine. Right? There's not a whole lot on the bid any longer. Okay, so are they showing up? Boy, not really today. In fact, these guys pulled. Here we go. Here's a little bit at 24, and they pulled 24.5. Yeah, so they didn't they pulled, and we're back up here. Yeah, Patrick, I think if you've been following our education, we've been doing it for years, and yeah, I think it's pretty high quality. Oh well, spoofing being illegal is really up to it's kind of can be disguised, but this looks very indicative of it here. But you know, if they stay in the order book and one transacts, then you'll see that's not really spoofing at that point if they're starting to transact. So you'll see a lot of that. You know, after that rule of 575, there's kind of different ways going around it. All right, let's just zoom out here. Let's get our bigger picture. Okay, so we're back up into, we're finding the buying pressure back up into where sellers took control at the open here. Let's take a look at the condition of the buying in here. Well, we knew this was strong here. Selling was pretty strong on the opposite side though. And then there, yet again, buying is kind of pretty strong in here. It's not bad. So likely to trade back up above the swing here. In the bigger picture of things, I would be looking for it to trade back up into 35, 36 here. Right, this liquidity up here, which looks like it pulled. Yeah, it pulled. And let's see if we can see where they pulled it to. Yeah, not really sure. Looks like you just pulled it. So 30 and then kind of 32 here. Now that would be high of the cash session, right? Yeah. Okay, watch for a beautiful stop run above that. We do have a Bookmap API. You can create your own add-on indicators within Bookmap. In fact, you can even create your there's level 1 and level 2 API. You can even create your own connection to a market in Bookmap. Here, let me show you where you can find out more about that. Okay, here, Bookmap. Go to more, go to knowledge base here. Okay, this, and then we'll go over this section, these sections up here in the blue. We're in the user guide section right now. Here's where you're going to find all the add-ons here in the add-on section. Here's where you can find about Java API here. And then this is where you can find out much more about like, you know, the API. There's also JavaScript API, but the Java APIs will allow you to create the level 0 and connect to different exchanges. So this is a good starting point right here if you're interested in that. Yeah, Captain Price, I mean, the JavaScript, from what I understand, is pretty easy to create lines on the chart in Bookmap. But if you want to go deeper into that, then that's where the Java API, something along those lines. All right, let's take a look at this structure here. It's been pretty fickle, like we've been looking at, like pulling and not getting that confirmation in the order flow, and then yet we do get some of the follow-throughs in here, but we just didn't get some of that confirmation we're looking for. It makes it more likely. All right, we've got some sellers here. All right, let's see them try to move it down to 25.5. It's not much selling though. And then there's none. Yeah, so we don't really have it here. It might still do it, but we don't really have it here. So order flow wise, we're not getting too much out of that. The move has unfolded, but yeah, just didn't really get too much out of that. Okay, now I would be looking for this. What if we can get back up above here on buying? I want to see the book support this as well. And it's not. Okay, more sellers, lower low. Very dark under here, or above it here. So buyers can whip it right back to 27 here very easily, maybe even 28. Jorge, you hover over an area and it says cross. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe you can take a screenshot of that. Maybe reach out to support, take a screenshot. Might be, I don't know if it's cross instruments you're looking at, like the cross trading functionality in Bookmap. Yeah, I use the balance meters up here every now and then. It's mostly when I can't really read the order flow in here too well. I look at CVD and also imbalance indicators. Like right here, I'm looking to see if we can get buyers back up above here. Right, this would be a beautiful. All of this would be a trap volume here. I'd be looking for a beautiful stop run to the upside. I'm looking to see if we can do it. If we get that condition here. Okay, we're looking for green dots up here and also the bid up, and you can see that we didn't get it. Right, so sellers still remain in control on this move. So let's see if they can break it, maybe down a little bit lower. Yeah, there we go. Now look, see the difference here. See the offer here, and the reaction is sellers. Now they pulled. So, this kind of sets up that potential trap here. They stayed here though. They stayed here at 25. 25 and a quarter. All right, so now they're pulling. Now we're getting buyers up here. Okay, now the trap can be on here. We're getting our buyers back up here. Let's see if we get a little more on the bid. And then I'm looking for a beautiful squeeze up to 28.5 and 30. Okay, so I'm looking for buyers up here. Okay, in this area here. I want to see the bid, support it. And we're not seeing that. Yeah, didn't get that one either. Yeah, it's been one of those kind of days here. There was just no support underneath it. Okay, so we're right back down to high liquidity down here at 22, and they're on the offer here at 24. Okay, this is European close. Well, we just passed the European close. All right, hold on a minute here. Let me get back to some of these questions in here. So, sorry guys, in Discord there. Are there any plans to add a full screen mode, similar function what you get when F11? Yeah, well, what you could do, Dario, is you could open up a symbol separately So for example, if you double click on Tesla here, okay, it'll open up Bookmap in a separate window that can be put on a different a different monitor. And then now you don't have like some of the drop downs up here, etc. So it's a little, you get a little more real estate that way. Okay, and if you want to close this now, or put it back into the tabs, you close it here and it'll put it back into the tab right here. All right, so maybe that's helpful for you. And let's see here. Okay, yeah, Alec, we're at session VWAP. UK markets closed. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, that I've requested from DXFeed to add the tick, or, some of the market internals, the add, the tick, the ticky, all of this kind of stuff. I think we did at one point see some of it, and I didn't really get too much from it, from that information. The market internals, like, it was kind of odd to look at from what I recall. It was a while ago too, but you can get it. I believe DXFeed offers it. Maybe if you can, maybe reach out to support and try to get the symbol for DXFeed. Okay. I'm not sure about it, but I do recall that they did offer it at one point. Let's see, and let's see, Marcin, we all have all the time have liquidity, otherwise you would not have a market order, buy and sell. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, what the heat map is showing though is like it's basically making a graphical representation of it. Yeah, there's always liquidity in here. If we zoom in really closely, here you can see even the dark areas. Here's 11, but what we're doing in the heat map is the scale. It's up here. So red and orange is very high liquidity, and then yellow, then white, then blue, and then black is the least amount. So here, we have some in here, even though this is dark color, right? That's what it's showing. All right. So yeah, sometimes there is no liquidity, and then it'll be black as well. Like some of the stocks or during economic releases, you'll see that they pull liquidity, and that's exactly why during those times you get a lot of volatility, because it's a lack of liquidity. The market can easily trade back up to an area. Here I can kind of demo. We demoed it last Friday in detail about a big move. So I would suggest maybe looking at that one from Friday to go over like it was a book sweep. It was a big book sweep, and then how there's a vacuum there and a spread, that's how it's very easy to, with one trade, you can move price, even though it took maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to move price down. With one trade, you can easily move it right back. And that would be the ultimate low volume pullback, basically. Anyway, all right. Well, guys, I'm going to actually put in a quick poll here. Because it's kind of funny. Like usually we don't do this kind of more kind of educational session. And I don't know. I just kind of started that direction the last few days. Do you want more live analysis, or do you forward-looking analysis like this, or some education mixed in like this? I mean, what gives you the most value, basically? Because we'll do it. I have no problem going over just forward-looking analysis. Just every now and then we come across certain stuff, and it's worthy to kind of take a step back and go over it. Let me okay, and Marcin, you prefer not only that, even the trading. Okay. I would suggest it's well noted, thank you. And maybe in the future, like we'll start doing some trades. I don't know. I mean, I'm just worried of two things, like I had mentioned. Number one is then it's a specific trading style. Number two, most of the time, people's eyes go right to the P&L, and then they forget about everything else. And you know, they lose that kind of flexibility in the mindset. Okay, so I'm getting some good feedback here. Live analysis and live trading. Okay, mixed education and trading. Okay. Okay. Right. Got it. Yeah, I know everyone wants to look at live trading. The only issue is like I said, is those two, and then like it is worthy. I personally think it's really worthy to go over some of these things, like this ignition algo in here. Now this is not actually ignition. This is someone getting out, and they got out because they traded. But a lot of times you'll see this kind of skew in the order book, very high liquidity, and pulls adds lower, very, very quickly, trying to get price to react to it, and maybe go lower. And this guy just said, I'm out. I want to get out at this price, or the best price. Okay, yeah, thanks TB. Live streams are very helpful. Yeah. Well, I know the forward-looking analysis. I've always kind of like put most of my emphasis on that, and then but we go over the same things, or many of the same things again and again. So I thought I'd take a step back and go over more educational stuff here the last few days. Friday was just because we saw something really interesting and then just kept going with it. Okay, yeah. No, I understand, Doug. Well, forward-looking analysis, and then saying like, look, we are looking for this to unfold this direction due to the order flow, is pretty compelling. It doesn't have to be a live trade. It's a live call basically, but it's due to what we see objectively in the order flow. That's what we want to emphasize. And then that's pretty compelling, and then you start to look for ways to manage it and trade it, and again, that's where you'll need to do your kind of due diligence and step back, take a look at it, and study it. Type 3 level, can I show? I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, this is full depth of market with Rhythmic. You can see up here at 5,000, we have 41 live contracts up here. At the figure of 5,000, someone's up there providing liquidity. So, there you go. Way down here at 2750, there's 5 contracts down here. And you'll see these numbers change every now and then, but nothing like current market. You'll see these numbers change a lot more frequently, right? Of course. I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah, I'm getting some questions like, well, how do I interpret positive, negative delta? Well, we're looking at delta dots in here, right? And who's in control in some of these areas. So yeah, we would be looking for follow through to the upside, basically. That's how we kind of started off the webinar. And we still haven't gotten up to 30 yet, right? And that's where we were kind of looking for control, or it just kind of touched up there. So we're looking to see if we get enough buyers to try to take it above there, and if we do, we should see a nice, like, really big stop run above there. Thanks, Edison. Yeah, I mean, what a lot of professional traders really enjoy about Bookmap is the simplicity of the data. It's showing you very objectively. It's just plotting it. It's the interpretation or context of that data that we need to put together. Thanks, Edison. Yeah, that's nice to hear. Yeah, you need to kind of wield it correctly, and put your trading plan together, and then the order flow will help you so much. I mean, it'll keep you away from a lot of trades. Like today, it kept us away from a lot of trades, right? Because we just didn't get the full picture here. We didn't get the full order book, etc., to help us there. Yeah, good question, Marcel. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like level 1 is best bid and offer. Level 2 is depth. And I believe people define level 2 as depth of market that's limited to like maybe 10 on the offer, 10 on the bid. Level 3 would be full depth of market, something like that. Yeah. Now that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know where to go from level 3, or full depth. Like this is showing you everything in here, right? To see that up at 5,000 here in the S&P, we've got 41 contracts sitting up there. That's pretty good. That's over 1,000 points away. That's a lot of data as well. Here come our buyers, guys. They're looking to try to break it here. They're looking for it. I don't know if they're going to get it, but they're looking for it. I don't see a lot on the bid. This has been the theme of the day. We get the aggressors here. We don't see the bid supporting it. And then we get these retests back down into these lower areas here. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. We'll call it a day. We got Tom B up next. I'm eating into his time. Sorry about that, Tom, but he's up next. This video or this webinar will segue and redirect directly to his, where you'll see an expert trade volume profile, or analyze forward-looking analysis of volume profile with order flow. Okay, getting more specific. Okay, whereas this webinar is about all different kind of ways of looking at the market. It's just market structure, volume, and supply and demand. Thanks, guys, for coming. I will do more live forward-looking analysis based on your feedback. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.